I have decided to make a gratitude diary. I sounds really woo-woo, sounds really hippie, but I found out lately just actively trying to think about positive and not in the sense of telling myself things are good where things aren't really good, but trying to look for other direction and being active in that sense, not like again like stereotype of vegan yoga teacher meditating and trying to fly away. No, life can be tough and there can be scary things, but I've noticed that when I focus on something and when I'm being active, I can really change how I look at some things. And also, last few days, I really had to kick myself in the butt and just realized that for me, waiting and preparing is form of procrastination. I wanted to make year worth of podcast, 52 episodes, which originally idea was make year worth of daily podcast before I publish first one. And now I cannot even believe I saying something like that. It's absolutely insane. And I realized that there are two very opposite powers messing me up. One is that I'm very afraid of change. There are many people like that, sure, but other one is that I get depressed when I feel like when I'm not going forward, when I'm not working on my life, and when I'm not changing anything. And those two things really messing me up. And now it's Sunday. It's 10 minutes before 6 p.m. I just got home. Tomorrow's work, and yesterday I was over at my father's place in his little garden. We worked, and honestly, it was a good time. I made video today. I posted it. It was on my new YouTube channel, Writer's Discipline, which you probably listen in this on. And tell you the truth, I really just getting up and saying, you know what, I can do it, and that sure I wish there would be better quality of that audio. I wish there would be better quality of many things. And even as I was thinking, I'm just gonna start. I have I think 30 episode of that podcast, and I thought, yeah, maybe I should just straight up redo all of them. And that past me that I don't like. I think I'm gonna call him Snippy or Nambi. I just need to name my past self, part of my personality that I don't like, because that person is person addicted to being on place and at the same time hating it and spinning wheels and not being active. And I realized when I just do anything, I'm really looking forward to shower, maybe eating, maybe not, but I it's really key that when you just looking at the things, when you're present and you start noticing what you're doing, you suddenly feel it's irony when you quote unquote wake up, not like get woke, but when you wake up from stereotype and when you actually follow your action, like things like how long you're on smartphone, which I'm not shaming because I'm addicting to smartphone just as anyone else, but it will happen to me. Even today during break, I'll make a lot of work. My dad was very happy. I help him a lot. He has hard work and not good health, but working on that garden really helps me with depression. He doesn't really have any hobbies like I do, which I'm also grateful for those hobbies. Not to go in, I'm really grateful for my dad because not to go terribly personal with that and not to give up some personal information, but there was a couple of years when I didn't talk to my father and it wasn't his fault at all. Some people told me that it's not my fault either, but I disagree with that. Basically, my mother is narcissist, and she told me some lies about my father, and I just believed them like that. And yes, my mother is devil, and my mother is very mean person. And now I don't personally believe in karma, but karma clearly believes in my mom because, as my grandmother pointed out, all the bad things that she did to other people in the last 20 years are now coming back to her. Basically, no one from our family talks to her anymore, and I feel really guilty. And I be thinking about, honestly, my father has, like I said, a really poor health. He has very hard and difficult work, and I don't know how long he's going to be here. My grandmother is still alive. I don't know how long she'll be here, and I don't talk to my father, and I don't talk to my mother, and no, that's not something that needs to be fixed. I escaped from there, and I'm not and while not as evil, my brother also, I don't really get along, and it's not just one argument. We're just not very people who needs to be around each other. So basically, I realized at some point that my grandmother and my father are only people I have left when it comes to family, and that's a scary thought. This does sound like something very different than what you tuned into. It is scary thought. It is very difficult thought, and yeah, those years I didn't talk to my father because even if my mom is evil and manipulative, I was already basically adult. I should have double checked, and I didn't, and yes, I will be guilty about it for the rest of my life. But you know what? I just shoveled some ground with my dad. Yesterday with my dad and stepmom we played some darts, and it was a good weekend, and I'm really really happy about it. Also about I just posted it was video about Wolf Warriors 2. Well, I say video, it was basically picture and me talking over it. It was like a podcast on YouTube, and it was barely edited, and it was just talking, but in the same time I think that I could just tell myself, no, I need to do different, and I would just find excuses, 1.5 million excuses of why not do something and why not work on it. And I posted that one thing up, and I'm gonna post this today. And it just felt so good just doing something and moving forward. Obviously I want views, I want subscribers, I don't know what else, but just me telling myself that I had this one victory, that I managed to do this one thing. Discipline, as Jocko Willink says, discipline really is freedom, and for me, just proving to myself that I can do that one thing or two things. Even when I was sorry, reflex, I dropped pencil on the phone. And I automatically said sorry. I'm not Canadian, by the way. Sorry. I was listening to some podcasts, Sir John Rogan, some Dan Lok, just as I was shoveling this basically like ground. We broke the ground, we dig the beat, that with machine before machine broke up, and then they just shovel it and then put it on like this big metal web, and scratch it so only soft ground falls down and rocks and stuff like that, and weed stays on the top so we can just throw it away. Just doing that. When my dad and my stepmom were really tired, my stepmom goes to night shift. I just told them, yeah, we had lunch. Yeah, go to sleep. And I did finish the work, at least most of it, before Dad wake up. And I just took other end of shovel. And when I was about halfway through, I just cut the ground that was left into like few squares or rectangles. And just seeing them to go filled me with so much joy and pride when I just shoveled this square and this square, like such an insane surge of pride. It's really difficult to explain. Just when I do this silliest thing, and again, going back to my other self that I'm trying to get away from, even though I must accept it's part of me, Nambi or Sleepy, my other self, I show that's what I was so sorry. This is going back and forth, but what I was talking about earlier, I realized when you start paying attention to your actions and your thoughts just a little bit, and not talking about monitoring your thoughts all the time, but when you just do it a couple of times a day. Also, I started to teaching my stepmom, my dad, stepmom and my dad a little bit of English, and I was praising them all the time that after 2 days you're really going really good when you can talk, and I'm really excited about it. And I drove car back home in garage. I closed the garage and I sit, and I realized it just hit me that no, you need to get up, because I would be able, basically my biggest flaw, and like I hesitate to call it emotion, but the way my brain works, at least right now, and what was my safe space, which is not as a good, my like anchor who's pulling me down my whole life was apathy and phlegmatism. I was for my whole life was happier when I was just somewhere and nothing's going on. I'm not saying everyone needs to be active. I'm not saying that everyone needs to do this or that or over that. Everyone do their own thing, and I'm still very introverted, which is okay, and I'm still phlegmatic, which is okay. I try to be cool person, which is okay, but I realize that I am just numbing myself, and when I'm watching the game, watching same movie over and over, or playing same level of video game that I don't even like anymore, over and over, or like just sitting in my chair and staring into space, or like will happen with I would drive home and I would just sit for 5, 10, 20 minutes in my car. I realized that for my brain, that safe space of nothing happening, no change, no nothing, no trying, that is no different than for someone is to be addicted to crack. It is my addiction, and I'm also very grateful that I noticed that about me. So I'm grateful for my dad. I'm grateful for my car that still works. I'm grateful for this fantastic weekend. I'm grateful that I did uh, this mini podcast, new show, Watch and Learn on my new YouTube channel that I actually did that. I would be planning for months. Oh yeah, I'm gonna just create new YouTube account. Now I just did that on new YouTube channel. I'm a type of person who says that I'm gonna definitely get up and have a glass of water and then I'm gonna wait for hours to do this. And did this little change, not a big change, but a little change. I published that one video now, still today. Maybe I will allow myself shower after this, but I'm definitely going to upload also my podcast. And I'm just, man, I'm just so happy that I'm doing something. And like I said, so grateful for you. I'm recording my Blue Yeti mic broke, my microphone in laptop is really not very helpful, and I just tried, I found out that my phone has pretty solid mic, so this is where I'm recording this. And you know what? This day is not much different than anything else, but not to be hippie, not to be woo-woo, but I was hearing for years about write every day 20 things that you're happy for, and I just tried and I gave up immediately. This doesn't work, this is bullshit. But rather doing it like this, like talking about it, I'm looking around. I have almost like allergic reaction. I did a little bit of outline. I made like one podcast earlier, counting this as a mini podcast, which I'm gonna publish. I hang out with my dad and my stepmom 2 days in a row. I did some physical work and I feel so happy. I'm about to cry, and this because I'm super negative. Originally, I'm super negative person from very negative environment, and even in youth, I always mocked when someone was trying to think positively like this. I was mercilessly mocking, and now I have like allergic reaction to being happy. And now, but I'm also gonna say this NAMBI disease of not changing, that's not changing to start something and not changing to finish something. I procrastinate when I don't want to start writing, and I'm also procrastinating when I'm just writing 80 pages long chapters that are about nothing or just mumbling. So this is also very difficult, and I just noticed this about myself, that we're pushing out 50 minutes. I think I said enough, and I would be just don't want to just repeat same thing, because again, for me, that's going back to that safe space, that negative toxic safe space where not doing change. It was telling me, this voice in my head, maybe it's resistance, maybe or something. I call him Nambi because he's a numb person and he's trying to make himself numb. Nambi was telling me, I know I don't actually hear voices in my head, but this is my habit, or whatever you call it, that's my old personality. Nambi was telling me not do million other things than to start this recording, and now Nambi is telling me not to finish this recording. That's why I'm going to finish this and I'm going to publish this today. Hope you had a also good time. And hey, write the comments. We see some people forget to do even good thing when they don't have a reminder. If you made it this far, good, just write in the comments what you're grateful for today. Trust me, it will help you. Thank you and stay awesome.